Hello all, welcome to a post-work beer review. I guess all beer reviews in the foreseeable future will be post-work beer reviews. So on Thursday, which is technically my only day off, but it's kind of not because it's dedicated to errands and other kinds of work. Um, I stopped by. I stopped by Bottleheads because why not? I mean, with all this overtime, be making a little extra money, why not spend some of it on beer to review? You know what I mean? So I went there, and there wasn't too much selection of things. Their stock kind of increases and decreases, I've noticed, but there was enough to at least review three things I've never had before, and this is one of them. I'm starting to realize, oh wait, one of my nails is snagged. Ugh, hangnail on the nail. And that might not mean anything to you, but yeah, when you play classical guitar or nylon string guitar, that is a real bad thing. Anyways, this is Boneyard Beer's Bonafide Pale Ale, 5.5 ABV and 38 IBUs. Let me go and check that again. 38, I believe. Yeah, 38. Yes, 38 IBUs. And this is a brewer from Bend, Oregon. I've never had any of their beers before. Um, they seem fairly highly rated. Uh, that said, I've learned long ago that ratings on beer review sites are more a general suggestion than something I can absolutely rely on. Particularly in places that are fairly dense with craft breweries or, um, styles that aren't particularly popular. So like say American Pale Ale style, which this is. Now I love a good pale ale, but and they're kind of seen as passé by a lot of people, which I don't know why. I mean, at this point, it'd be nice to go back to the classics, if you know what I mean. I mean, can you even find a brown ale anymore? Very beginning of craft beer revolution, Pete's Wicked Ale was a brown ale, and now it's like you don't even see those anymore. But yeah, back to this Boneyard beer. Don't know anything about them. They're a Bend brewer. Going to by Beer Advocate, looks like their stuff's pretty highly rated. And yeah, they have text on the back, but I don't want to struggle to read it because apparently it's the same as, on the website. So I'm going to go and read it off the website. When we say that bona fide is clean and balanced, we're not talking about its features. We're talking about its DNA. It's balanced in its bones. One of the original Boneyard favorites, this pale ale is always at the ready. The ultimate sidekick for easy drinking adventures and letting the day ride. So yeah, I guess this is one of their main line. This particular one was canned in looks like the middle of December. It's the beginning of March, so only 3 months old. Kind of wonder how it got here. I don't think this is one of the beer. I don't think this beer is distributed here in Hawaii. But yeah, here. Yeah, I have no idea why this camera loves going into hyper close focus. It's like when, yeah, it's like this. See, so you can see things that are like really 1 inch away from like the camera. But it's like, when are you going to use that on a webcam? Okay, without much further ado, let's just go and pour this out. 92 IBUs. I'm going to move this a little bit. Maybe that'll go and help. Sorry, 38 IBUs, 5.5 ABV. Rated 92 on Beer Advocate. Oh, this is one of those ones that are... Okay. I don't think I poured that one pretty violently, but I guess it's pretty well carbonated. So a nice lemon yellow, maybe some tinges of orange to it, very well carbonated. A thick Frothy to fluffy white head. Grapefruit. Actually, more citrus zest. Bready to crackery malts. Hints of pine resin. Definitely very strong hop presence in the aroma. Smells a bit more like an IPA. I would expect a little bit more malt to show up there in the nose there. But then, for a lot of pale ales, it's basically, an IPA that's lower than 6.0 at this point. But we'll see. I haven't gotten this on the palate yet, and I've never had this before. Yeah, so I'd say bready malts there. Touch of honey, orange. Okay, onto the palate. Hmm. Yep, definitely a pale ale. So, well, there's a strong hop presence up front in the top note. Bitterness is fairly subdued on the palate. Balanced by lightly sweet malts. Some citrus in the mids and into the finish. Somewhat of a thin mouthfeel, and despite, you know, the amount of carbonation, kind of not it's not too prickly on the palate, which is kind of a neutral thing. Some people prefer that, some people don't. I really don't care one way or the other. I only care if it's like so flat that it's like bleh, or so carbonated you can't taste it. Anywhere in between is fine by me. Yeah, those hop aromas are pretty strong in the top note. And again, very balanced, very pale ale-like on the palate. Which leads me to my only real flaw there. It's kind of thin and tannic on the palate, despite not being very bitter. Having the appropriate level of perceived bitterness. Um, I don't know why it's so thin feeling. I'm sure that tannic aspect is what lends it that thinness. Granted, the pale ale style is not supposed to be some rich, heavy style. It's supposed to be, I wouldn't say light, but moderate. It's a moderate sort of beer for moderate people like me. I have to say, it is really nice to have a pale ale that is pretty much a pale ale, in that it's balanced in between the hops and the malts on the palate, especially. Quite nice bouquet there. Um, yeah, kind of run out of things to say about this particular beer. But it's a pale ale. It's not supposed to be complex. It's supposed to have an easy drinking experience, um, with a decent amount of flavor and aroma, and this one pretty much does it. Like I said, some quibbles there with the mouthfeel, but I'm willing to let that go and slide just because it's so rare for me to have just a decent American pale ale. anymore. You know what I mean? So yeah, give this one a shot if you can find it. I'm guessing if you're in Oregon, it's probably easy to find. Boneyard Beers Bonafide Pale Ale. We're going to check how old is this brewery? When was it founded? Yeah, see here. Yeah, doesn't really say on their website, which leads me to believe that they're not that old. Basically, any craft brewer that dates before 2010 almost always goes and mentions it at this point. But yeah, Bonafide Pale Ale. Try it if you like pale ales, like I do. And that, folks, is your beer review for tonight. Cheers.